Okay, so in the prior two videos, I showed you how to add two binary numbers and how to subtract two binary numbers. Now let's look at multiplication. So again, we're going to take the same approach, which is to start with problems that we know the answer to. Now, before I show you how to do multiplication in general, I want to show you a trick, which is anytime you want to multiply any binary number times 2, all you have to do is add a 0. Now this is the same concept as in decimal. Anytime that you want to multiply a number times 10, all you do is you add a 0, and it's true for any base. If, for example, I have hexadecimal times 16, so any number times the base is just that number with a 0 at the end. So in binary, if I have any binary number like 5 and I want to multiply it times 2, I just simply add a 0 at the end, and now it is 10. Okay, so that's a trick that you can use with any base in order to multiply any number times that base. Okay, so now what if you have a situation where it's not quite that easy? So let's say we have 4 times 3. So if we have 4 times 3, we can do this exactly the same as if we were multiplying using the method we learned in school for decimal numbers, except just applying the same concept to binary. And here's how we do it. We say 1 times 0 is 0. Then we say 1 times 0 again is 0. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 0 is 0. And now we would repeat the process here. 1 times 0, 1 times 0, 1 times 1, and 1 times 0. It's going to be exactly the same as what we just did, except just like we would do in binary, we move it all over one space to the left. So we're going to say, actually that might be a little confusing explaining it like that. So it's going to be exactly the same, except it's going to be 1 over to the left, and now it's simple addition. So we're adding 0 and 0, 0 and 0, 1 and 0, 0 and 1, and 0. And it might sound hard at first, but if you look, it's actually very easy. And now we can see that we have the 1's place, 2, 4, 8. 8 and 4 is 12. And in fact, 4 times 3 is 12. Now, here I've shown you the process that you use, and I think it's fairly clear why it works. It works for the exact same way that decimal multiplication works, but now I'm going to show you that because in binary you only have 1's and 0's, it's very easy to do this. Let me show you. Let's say that we have the number 3 times 5. So we're going to say 3 times 5. Now, in binary, because you either have a 1 or a 0, you only have to do the multiplication one time. In fact, let's just make this a little more interesting. Let's add a 1 here as well. So now we're saying 5 times 11. So you only have to do the multiplication once for a 1 because it's going to be the exact same thing for all of the other 1s. So we're going to say 1 times 1 is 1. And of course, if it's times 0, it's just 0. And then 1 times 1 is 1 again. And then 1 times 0 is 0. And now what you need to notice here is that because you're saying 1 times a number, in this case 0101, it's just going to be 0101. Now we do the next digit over. We have 1 times 0, 1, 0, 1, it's going to be 0, 1, 0, 1, but moved one digit over. Then we have all zeros, which just means that we move one digit over, because 0 times 0, 1, 0, 1 is 0, 0, 0, 0, which we can just ignore because it's just all zeros. And so now we finally have 1 times 0, 1, 0, 1, which is going to be 0, 1, 0, 1. It's just moved over not one space, but two spaces because of this 0. So now we can just add it up by dropping the 1s down. Carry a 1, drop down a 0, 1, 1. And you can see that we have the 1s placed, 2, 4, 8, 16, and 32. So we're going to have 32 plus 16 plus 7. And if we plug that into our calculator really quick, we will get 55. And now, let's look at our original problem. We're saying 5 times 11, which is, of course, 55. So you see how that works. Now let me show you one more example, now that you know the trick. So we're going to say 7 times 6. Okay, so if we have a 1, it's just going to be whatever is on the top. So we're literally just going to write down the number that is on the top, because 1 times 0, 1, 1, 0 is 0, 1, 1, 0. Now we have another 1, so we're going to do exactly the same thing, but we're going to move over again. And then we have another 1, so we're going to do the exact same thing, but move over 1. Now we add it all up. Since we have 2 1s here, we're going to carry a 1 over. I'll just put it right there and drop down a 0. Now we have 3 1s, we're going to carry a 1, drop down a 1, 2 1s, and finally we have our answer. And there you go. You don't even need to convert it to decimal. You know that it's the right answer because you follow the right mechanism, and that's how you do it. Let's look at one more example of multiplying by. So here we have, let's say, 1, 0, actually I'm going to give myself more room here because this is going to be longer than usual. So let's say we have 1, 0, 1, 1, 0 times 0, 0, 1, 0, 1. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, 1 times 1, 0, 1, 1, 0 is 1, 0, 1, 1, 0. 0 times 1, 0, 1, 1, 0 is 0, which means we're just going to, rather than move over one place, we're going to move over 2 places. So we can make a little note if we want, just to remind ourselves for our next number that we've moved over 2 places. And then we have 1 times 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, which means we are going to write down 1, 0, 1, 1, 0. Making sure, of course, that we've moved over 2 places because of this 0. And now we don't even have to worry about these other zeros because they are 0, and so we can just drop down the numbers. Here we have 1 and 1, which means we carry the 1 and we drop down a 0. And there you have it. And that's how you do it. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them below. And remember that all the lessons are available at highercomputingforeveryone.com.